All right, let's talk some One Piece. We got what is it? 5 chapters stocked up? 6? No, yeah, 5. But they're like pretty meaty chapters.
They're juicy.
And we're
Fall
going
off the
from
boat.
yeah, we're going from 1094 to 1098.
Oh God.
I will run through the summaries as I do.
Yep.
So we got 1094, basically the one where Saint Saturn arrives, and we get a confrontation between him and Bonnie, and Kizaru is still fighting Luffy, etc. We got 1095. We got the Kuma flashback starting, the death of his father, and the Celestial Manhunt beginning. 1096 is the God Valley incident. Crumb. We get like part 1 of that flashback, I guess is one way to say it, or also known as the Celestial Manhunt. Then we got 1097. It's like the Ginny and Kuma flashback and their time as revolutionaries, their time living free. We got 1098, which is Bonnie's birth and Ginny's death, and that's where we're at today. So a lot of like light-hearted conversation pieces, like a lot of like goofs and gaffs in these chapters. It's all laughs. Classic One Piece. Children's comic book vibes.
Shit is crushing.
Yep. All right, where do we start? And
I don't fucking know.
someone
man.
throw me a highlight. Tyler,
I
you
mean,
start. No, Bradley, you got something to say.
1094, guys. Saturn, look at this fucker,
Dude.
Look at him.
It's so cool. Like I like
man.
just the satanic imagery is very like
Yeah.
interesting for One Piece. Very new, very intimidating. But I also
Man.
like his summoning ritual because like he comes out of like a cloud explosion. Like it's not just like a shadow coming out of a pentagram. He fucking explodes out of there. Like
And here's
Yeah.
the thing. His summoning circle has 5s on it. Do the other Gorosei have like other numbers, or is that not a
Ooh.
5? Am I tripping?
no, that's I mean, it could also be some like occult symbol that we don't know. But I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm like worried about. But if it's a 5, I'm worried. I'm like, do the others have other numbers? And
yeah,
who gets what number?
they go from 5 to 1. That could very well be the case.
Is it 5 or Ra? Or Ra?
Ra.
Is that the
No,
right symbol?
5 is wait, what? Oh yeah, I see what you're cooking. Me and Tyler
It's
been
like,
learning.
Ra, 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 ra.
Me and Tyler been learning how to read Japanese, so it's a process. Yeah, like I wonder also if it could also be just like 5 Gorosei, so 4 of them are dead, or like one of them dies. It would just say 4 now. Like they're the seals of hell or something.
Jesus.
Yeah, we can like definitely start with Saint Saturn because I think it's pretty much after this chapter we roll into all Kuma flashback
This-
stuff.
Motherfucker blew up a guy's head.
Yeah, by just looking at him, which is
Yeah.
already setting off like that's pretty fucking dark, bro.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was under the impression that these are like the weakling elders who rule the government and have everyone else do shit for them. But what if
Yeah.
they're actually like ass kickers?
And that's like I remember us mentioning that like not too long ago. We're like, are they just politicians or can they throw down? It certainly seems like they can throw down. I don't know if they're like the strongest enemies we're going to face. Like, but at the same time, Kizaru got like knocked down for a bit here, so it's implying that Saturn is like the scarier threat right now. But we'll have to see.
What forms do the other ones have? Because they're not all gonna be spiders, surely.
So, I saw a thread where people are theorizing that like they are based off of old Japanese like demon god things.
Okay.
I'll have to, like remember what they are.
Because they have the God ring around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, so did Lucci. He had the dark like god ring in his awakened form.
Yeah.
There's also the idea that this isn't a Zoan devil fruit at all. Like this is just like their true
Their
forms.
forms.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what if that's just what he is?
Yeah, like actual devils. I don't think they would all be Japanese mythology. I bet they're all from a different mythology. And the idea here is that they're gods like Luffy. So like Luffy is
Yeah.
not the only god from the past. The Gorosei are also, and like he even looks at Luffy and he says Nika, like he knows him personally, which is just kind of hype. Like I can't wait to see how they know each other, what their past is like, because we're definitely gonna get that
I
eventually.
could see it because here's the thing: like if there's a god of the sun, I didn't think about it, but there's probably other fucking gods.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in Skypiea, granted, like, it's probably an extraction of the religion or whatever, but in Skypiea, they worshiped the god of the sun, which was the main one, but they also worshipped a god of earth, rain, and some other fourth thing.
Hold on, Joe. Pull that back up.
What? Oh, the thing I just posted in the cast chat.
Oh yeah. So like, if you look at their silhouettes, one of them does look like a crane, but look at Saturn's silhouette compared to like his actual form.
Yeah, they look inky.
Yeah, he doesn't even really look like that.
That's the thing. I'm not putting too much stock in these shadows.
Yeah.
I think they're just kind of like either mid transformation or something, or like just Oda giving us a very slight hint of what they look like. It feels metaphorical. Like, look at Im in the back. Like, Im is just like an emanating force of evil. Like, I don't think this
it's
is
definitely
literary.
like rough drawings or like rough designs. But I also feel like Saturn and Mercury are flipped. Like Mercury's what's labeled as Mercury on the bottom here looks closer to what Saturn is.
I think you're right, because that could straight up just be Saturn's head, because he's got a giant beard. When he's transformed. Yeah.
No, yeah, these are totally mislabeled because Saturn is not correctly labeled. Yeah, that's definitely Mercury on Saturn on the left.
Yeah, because in the top image they're facing him, in the bottom image they're running away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're well.
Or he's running. We're facing the back of the room on the bottom.
Saturn and
image.
Mercury are just completely like
I don't know.
up there.
Yeah.
So I think there's just some inky blots. They're just nebulous for sure. But I do remember like we were discussing this, and one of us threw out there like maybe they're form changes or maybe they're just like things that Im is doing to them.
True. Yeah. Man.
But I think it's more a form change than anything.
I'm more and more interested in Im every day. Just like.
Oh yeah.
Just what he represents or they represent to the story is just really cool, and it's high. Like, the hype is getting there, man. I remember we ranked the Gorosei, like we put him like I think in A, just for like how much hype there that surrounds them or like the stuff they talk about. But now like their placement in A is becoming more like justified, where we're getting to see them in action.
I love the design. I think it's so cool. It also like to me. It stands out way more than like what else we have seen. There's something much more like sinister compared to the other like transformations we see in One Piece.
They got like devil fruit swirls, flame patterns like Gear 4 kind of, but also like devil fruits on their on his leg, for example. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
Even the font that the translation team used to like introduce Saturn is a new font. Like, it seems like some out of world shit. So very cool there.
Before we move on from this chapter, I wanted to just discuss Kizaru in regards to like fighting Luffy. Because he fucking went toe to toe with Gear 5
for a long time,
right?
And basically like tied almost. Like
they're both down. And I saw a lot of people be like, he got down from one good hit. But also think of, I just keep thinking of Akainu taking Whitebeard's attacks dead on and then just getting up after and like, we got work to do. Like, I feel like when we flip back, Kizaru is gonna be up and going again.
And then he took down Whitebeard and was like, all right, I'm gonna fight Shanks now. Like, let's go.
Well, he wasn't that enthusiastic about it, but
but he was going to do it. He was.
We'll go down with the
like,
ship.
After seeing Gear 5 for the first time, it's easy to just start writing off every other character in the story, including the admirals. Like, they ain't gonna beat no Gear 5, but like, they're not slouches.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I just really think it's funny this fucking Star Gun hit to the face, and he's just like, oh no.
Star Gun is badass. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I liked Near-Death Experience.
Yeah, was that from this chapter? It was. That's like one of my favorite One Piece attacks.
That is like top 3 coolest attacks in One Piece, period.
Let's talk about Bonnie. Prominent, because Joe's pulled up a Bonnie ass shot. Now that we know for sure that she's 12. Good on you, Oda. Just keep it up, bro. Just clap. I've heard that Bonnie's fruit, and this was probably brought up in an SBS, and this helps the ass shot slightly. So this is me throwing Oda a layup for him not to fuck this up completely. Is that what it's doing? Is it's taking you to alternate dimensions of past and present? So this is a future where this dude died, but it's temporary, right? So he's like dead for a couple seconds, and he comes back and he passes out.
Yeah.
And another example is when she does an attack. I think when she's like trying to kill Vegapunk earlier in the arc, where she like is bulked up, and I think she says like alternate future as she's doing it. So it's like a future where she has more of a Buccaneer build, is the way I'm interpreting it, because she's part Buccaneer. Well, no, she's not at all actually. Anyway, it's just a future where she's buff as fuck.
She
So
wishes she was Buccaneer.
Bro, she's half celestial dragon.
that is
right?
so, dude. We need to put that in the back half of this conversation,
Oh
because
my
there's a lot
God.
to say. But
Yeah.
like my cope here is that like she's mentally the 24-year-old Bonnie, and then like just depending, like if she's an old woman Bonnie, she has the old woman Bonnie mind. Like she's replacing herself with like different time incarnations. So I need to look into that and see if that wasn't an SBS. I read that somewhere. I think maybe Twitter or Reddit or something.
I saw a dude
Yeah.
on Reddit say that Oda saved himself by, if you actually go through this entire Future Island arc, Sanji never actually like creeps out on her, and he's like, "That's how I knew something was up."
That's so real. That's the sussiest shit, isn't it? So that's good on there. Saint Saturn shows up. The ride fruit was introduced this chapter. I think that's a pretty.
She's a ride lady.
That's a pretty fucked up fruit, but whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, last arc we enslaved the enemies in an arc about freedom to fight for us. So go figure.
Yeah.
I want to throw out like any other, besides from this chapter, what are some of the other highlight points for y'all in these discussions? Because I remember Tyler was very confused about the ending of this chapter. He's like, wait, Saturn is Kuma? It's like, no, not quite. Because it's just the way that she's saying it. Like, I was like, oh, we're about to get a flashback, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we do in the next chapter, partway through. But about like Saturn's head blowing up attack, I remember noting like, it's not an instant head blow up. He's like hitting you with some sort of like hockey, like I don't know if it's specifically hockey, but like Bonnie gets hit by it and she doesn't get eviscerated. So it's.
I think also it's in 1095. He just stops people from moving,
And when he gets stabbed, he like reverts the injury. Like it heals in a really weird way. Like he's rejecting reality, which makes me also think more that he is some sort of godly thing like Luffy, who also rejects reality.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Frankie. In this science arc, we get no Frankie content, but he like is actually like staring down this incredibly scary devil man and being cool.
Yeah.
I was about to say he's really cool-headed. I thought we were just gonna get more. This was gonna be the Frankie arc, dude.
You fucking thought, didn't we all? I mean, hey, it's not over yet. He could do something cool near the end. He could download the punk records in his brain.
Frankie is clutching a lot of support in this fight.
He is.
Because, like, Sanji runs at Saint Saturn and just gets mind bulleted by him.
Yeah.
And Frankie... Yeah, but Frankie's fine. Frankie's not taking any damage right now.
I mean, he just saved Luffy's life. Whoa!
Yeah, and then he strong rights Luffy for the save.
I wonder. This is way reaching, but I wonder if it's because he has a metallic body. Like I don't. Maybe.
I'm thinking because his body is less natural.
Yeah.
He doesn't take as much damage from
No.
the natural god elements of Saint Saturn.
But he does get stopped by whatever Saint Saturn thing is. I don't know if it's hockey, because it's definitely not like hockey.
I don't. If it is hockey, then it's a brand new implementation. I think it's devil shit. I think this is the shit your mom got worried about you finding in like goth videos or something. I don't know.
Or in One Piece,
Ooh.
in anime.
True. I think not relevant. All right, let's jump around a little bit. What are some of the other highlights here? Bradley brought up Saturn. I wanted to throw it to Tyler. What's like your favorite bit of this stretch of chapters?
Shit. I don't know, man.
I ask y'all this question every time. You gotta. I just ask for one thing.
I like Saint Saturn showing up, and I thought that was really cool. And then they cut away from it, and I was like, "Oh fuck, okay. Well, I guess we're not doing the cool stuff anymore."
And we're probably not cutting back next chapter either. I think we're
We
still.
probably-
No,
like
it's
one or two,
probably gonna be this shit for the rest of the year.
I think
We
it-
got eight.
No.
There were 8 episodes of Odin's flashback. Yes.
Yeah, true. And I mean, this is like he's putting in the Odin effort for this one. So
Like this,
Yeah.
this seems like it's a pretty important one. It
Yeah.
involves other characters besides even just Kuma. You got
Oh yeah, I think that's the brilliance of this flashback is like it's put really late into the story, and now we can make it like really integrative with everything. So that's pretty. So I take it then you don't think the flashback is cool, Tyler. This is the Saturn stuff, the cool stuff. You don't like the flashback?
Yeah. The flashback is like whatever. I'm looking forward to it being animated. It'll probably mean more to me when I get to see this in the show. Odin's flashback meant a lot more to me once I saw it animated as well. Could really feel like those emotional impacts of dragging out those moments to really feel the drama. I like all these characters that we get kind of silhouetted in the knights. Like this is supposed to be the God Valley incident, but we don't get the whole incident. We
No,
only get the
yeah,
first
it's
half
just
of
it's
it.
just the crumb because we cut away
Yeah,
when like we don't even get the details of like why everyone is there necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay, then I wanted to, I guess, since I asked Tyler, I wanted to ask y'all, A and B, a two-part question. What are like your favorite One Piece flashbacks, and how is this ranking among them for you?
Oh, Odin, and this is a great flashback. Don't get me wrong, but the Odin flashback is top.
Okay, Joe.
I think up there is probably the Odin. Is Odin up there as well, and probably like the Frankie. I really like Frankie's flashback after watching it again. So I think up there with Frankie, Robin, and Odin for sure. But I don't think this is up there for me right now. But like it's also kind of fucking devastating.
Interesting.
This one feels a lot more character focused compared to the other flashbacks.
Which is why, and I've seen others echo this, I think this might be the best flashback in the series.
It is pretty goddamn good.
It's not over yet, but it feels so important, and it also, like Joe said, is so character driven. And it's like, it's not just the formative event of Kuma's life. You are getting the entire story of Kuma, who is about to show up on this island half dead and see
die.
Nika before he dies. It's going to be the most amazing story in One Piece. He's definitely showing up here, and he's the first character in the story who really cares about the Nika myth. So a well-timed flashback there, which is just going to make him see Luffy be like, I really hope he gets to see that if he's gonna die at the very least. So he can go out with a big smile because I think
if he dies without getting to see that
my God.
might actually be one of the saddest things that happens in One Piece.
This flashback already is the saddest thing that happens in One Piece.
I know it's already pretty much there.
As for me, like the other contenders would be my two favorite flashbacks are Brook and Otohime Fisher Tiger.
Oh man, Brook.
Law's up there. That's a great one too. But I think this one is right in that upper echelon. Odin's up there too, along them. So we'll have to see how it ends. And yeah, like okay, so you guys are enjoying it, but I guess not quite as much as me.
The page in the flashback with Whitebeard and Kaido and Big Mom and like every fucking powerful character that's ever existed.
That was so fun, and we don't get to see them do their thing. And like I was very confused, and I talked to like Joe about this. Like, so they're just there to get the devil fruits that were part of the manhunt, or is there more going on? I feel like there's got to be more going on.
No, there's definitely a treasure that was stolen from Pirate Island because
because that is like
Yeah.
what Garp is talking about. He's talking about the fact
Yeah.
that of course they're gonna show up at God Valley. Y'all should have predicted this. You took the treasure we ransacked from them to God Valley, which
Idiots.
was confusing because he's saying it before we get to see the implications. So like I was a little befuddled there.
Well, no,
I
I
like.
like.
Here's the thing: we got here, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is it at long last. We're gonna see the God Valley incident," and then we didn't. And at first, I was like, "Okay, that's kind of bullshit." But then now I'm like, "Okay, you know what? If we stopped and showed the entire God Valley incident, I mean that takes this is Kuma's flashback, okay?
That's
We're
what I'm
telling
thinking,
Kuma's
right?
story.
Like as you're reading it, you get the blue ball, but you also don't realize how much more of Kuma's story there is to tell once you finish
Yeah.
that chapter. Like that whole since then we have taken a completely different direction. So I'm glad we didn't yet.
This and more, this is also like I think seeding like the Rocks or Gold Rogers flashback, like
Yeah.
proper that we're gonna because like it's like more and more we see more of this crew. Like this is the most we see the crew. We still don't see Rocks.
We
at all.
even see some zombies from Thriller Bark that
Yes.
Moria had the bodies for, which is fucking
Yeah.
crazy. I think Joe has a page pulled up right now, actually. The guy on the leftmost is
Yeah.
definitely one of the zombies from Thriller Bark. Actually,
And
two
then
of them,
Captain
yeah.
John.
Captain John, which is the
I think-
treasure Boogie's trying to get, is Captain John's treasure.
He did find it. That's how he films Cross Guild is with that treasure.
Yeah, from the bracelet that Luffy got him. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Man, One Piece is so big.
Then we got Stussy up here.
Yeah,
It
she
was-
was mentioned as like a. I think they used the word groupie in the translations, like a Rock's groupie, and she's really
Yeah.
living up to it.
Yeah.
Wait, is that Stussy or Bucking? It's Bucking.
Well, original Stussy, Buckingham.
Yeah, Bucking.
Yeah.
You
Miss
know-
Bucking. And then this is the short lady on what's it called? Amazon Lily.
I did not even realize that's the grandma in Amazon Lily.
Yeah. You didn't
Are you
realize that?
serious?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
her.
Oh my God.
That's huge.
And the snake doesn't age apparently.
They
No, it's a
probably
different
just get
snake.
different snakes, I'm sure. Unless,
Ah,
I mean, it could be like alligators don't die until they run out of food. So,
Yeah, they don't die until they die.
yeah.
We also first in
Shiki.
story.
That's
version of
Shiki, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Shiki is a canon, like the movie's not canon, but Shiki exists.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
Too bad he's weaker than what? Alabasta Luffy.
Water 7, give him a break.
Okay, he's not that bad. He's not that bad.
It's pretty bad. The
Yeah.
movies are goofy. I wanted to, and Joe might be interested in this. This was like, this might come weird, but this is the first time I've ever been annoyed at Garp.
Dude, no, I was about to say that.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
think I've ever liked him less.
This is the most I've disliked him, and
Or-
I wonder if it's intentional. And I guess we're all referring to like, he knows that the celestial dragons are doing their triannual hunt. They do this every 3 years. He's like, oh, they're doing their little excursion. I'm like,
Yeah.
Garp, you piece of shit.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm with Dragon. I'm like, you cannot claim to be for justice if
Yeah,
you know what's
he-
going on here.
To give the benefit of the doubt.
no.
Yeah, well, the Navy, if he's definitely like a vice admiral level, might not know entirely like what goes on there.
Garp, I have it like. There is no
Yeah.
doubt after reading this dialogue that he knows, and he's just like, oh, those silly little celestial dragons. I don't care for them. You should have a
Yeah.
stronger stance than I don't care for them. Like,
Yeah, no, it's definitely like weird, and
I don't-
everything.
I don't know if it's weird. I think it's just like because Garp's always like Garp let Ace die. Like,
Yeah.
he said like, hold me back, bro, or I'm gonna kill Sakazuki. Like, he's always been a little bit of a coward when it comes to standing up for what goes counter to the world government's like laws or whatever. So it's like, I think we're just really seeing his true colors and like the actual critique of Garp, where like he's a very good, interesting character. He is very likable, but he is by no means a moral paragon of the series.
Like, maybe he's by the book, but maybe to a fault.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I also did have the same thought as Joe, where it's like he's rushing to come help. Everyone's like, it's Vice Admiral Garp, help has arrived, and I'm like, maybe like more specifically in his head, he's like, I'm not here to help this event. I'm here to just help prevent these motherfuckers from getting the fruits.
but I mean, even that, like,
Even then, like,
he's only
Yeah.
showing up. Like, he didn't really care until Roger was a part of it. Like, he's showing up because he's the one that can fight Roger. Like, this isn't about the people who are suffering, or the Celestial Dragons, or even the treasure. It's about him being, like, the force that can stop Robin and him being a hero. Because, like, he brings morale when he comes
Roger.
along.
Yeah.
So, I feel like this is an intentional, like, Oda reminding us of, like, we just did this cool stuff with Garp. He's got a great relationship with Kobe. But, you know, he lets a lot of stuff slide by. And, like, I was very disappointed in him. But that's intentional, so, like, I don't think it's bad writing or anything. It's
The
just,
thing
like,
is, we're also missing part of the story as to what causes Garp to team up with Roger.
I mean, yeah, that's the whole story to me. Like,
yeah,
I know we gotta figure that out.
yeah. 'Cause, like,
It's-
that's the whole interesting point of the God Valley incident is
Yeah.
how that came to be. So I
because
guess we'll see.
what's interesting about that is because we have the Holy Knights here, right?
Yeah.
Like they should have played some part, but they're not mentioned in that initial briefing in the room with the Marines.
Well, to be fair, that briefing was talking about pirate matters and the emperors fighting and showing, like, the emperor bounties and, like, putting stuff
Right.
in a perspective there. So
Right, but I don't know. Like, there's definitely like a big. Obviously, we're missing what actually happens here. But like, I'm just so interested to see like how this all plays out because right now we have 3 or maybe even like 4 factions that are
Yeah.
like coming at each other.
Yeah.
Because you have Roger's Pirates, the Navy, Rock's Pirates, and then even the Celestial Dragons,
Mhm.
who. Like I see Roger more coming in to like help out the Marines more than the Celestial.
Man, look at Roger with his straw hat on the back.
hey, that's true. We
Yeah.
don't often get to see that. That's crazy. Does Luffy?
Yeah.
I forgot. Luffy still doesn't know, does he? He's gonna freak.
Nah.
He's gonna
He doesn't care.
freak the fuck out. Nah, he'll fanboy a little bit. Like at least
at least a little bit.
because he does have a little bit of a fanboy streak towards like Roger. He's not like over the top or anything, but like he really respects him and like is into him. So
I rewatched the bit the other day where Luffy goes to the gallows.
yeah,
And I think that's like one of the few times he does like exclusively mention Roger.
It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta pay my respects.
I mean I think he shows hype when he learns that like someone was on Roger's crew. Like I think he learns Shanks was there at some point and mentions it as well.
I think when he sees Rayleigh or meets Rayleigh. For the
Yeah,
first
he
time.
was pretty hyped about that.
Yeah.
And it helps that Rayleigh is a interesting, like a nice person.
Also, partially confirmed, but not 100% confirmed. Jay Garcia looks exactly the same 50 years ago.
Yeah, huh?
This is,
That's why I brought up that theory. Like, I bet all of these people have the immortal fruit
yeah,
procedure done on them.
I think so too.
Mhm.
It'd be weird if Im is the only person. Like, not weird necessarily, but I think it'd be even cooler if like this has happened 6-7 times to characters
Because-
we know.
Because normally you might like throw off to the side like, oh, it's just keeping character design. But the thing is, like, we see Garp, or not Garp. Well, we do see Garp. Garp looks distinctly younger.
Yeah.
Roger looked very distinctly different than I think when we see him as Peak later.
Yeah, and this is
Uh,
20 years ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Rayleigh looks different than we know from him from the beginning. This is still Friggerland from Marijoa.
No,
correct?
Figureland's
Yeah.
old in Marijoa.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
This is
yeah,
like-
it's the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So like very decent. Like these are different. Like everyone has changed.
That's a good point. And the oldest person here looks the exact same.
Yeah, and so like that's the
Big
thing.
Mom
Like
is actually hot.
Yeah.
So
the Op fruit immortality thing has come up enough times in the story that like it's gotta be fucking important.
Oh,
right?
it's integral.
it's Chekhov's fruit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
So-
mentioned, go ahead, Tyler.
I was gonna ask something about Kuma because we talked about how he's gonna show up. Sorry, this may be completely irrelevant to the Saint Garcia, but
No, it's all good.
I had to do some fact hunting here.
Yeah.
So we talked about Kuma's gonna show up at the island, and that's why he's climbing to the top of the Grand Line so he can like
To be fair,
fling himself here. Right?
well, he's already past the Grand Line. Like he
Oh, sorry.
he,
like,
he escaped Akainu already. Yeah.
to the top of the wall?
Yeah, he
Oh.
got to the top of the wall. He fought Akainu up there, and then he flew off. That's
Okay.
I want to say that's like 1 or 2 chapters before the one we started on today.
Yeah, it's like 90.
92 or 93.
92. Yeah.
He gets like Like Akainu like burns off his leg as he's flying away. If that helps you remember. But was that like anything? Like, was that your question?
No, dude. It's just like the time we see him start climbing the wall was in January of this year.
Yeah, I mean, we learned about the God Valley incident 200 chapters ago. Like, we're talking about it now. It's how it goes.
I think even longer than 2000.
Yeah, it feels like 6 years ago.
That's
just how time passes, my guy.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Just wait till it finishes in 2037.
Yeah.
2 more years of One Piece, by the way. Fucking fraud, Oda. Bad time estimator.
Prada.
So, can we talk about the Celestial Manhunt? Like, what the fuck? Like, but prior to Ginny, I think this is the most fucked up thing in One Piece. And then we topped it 2 weeks later. So.
Yeah. I mean, this was expected to me. Like,
I don't know, when you put a face like... no, it's not completely expected that they just show up to an island and they're like, hey, we want to take over. You guys are just going to stand there and die now. Bye. Like, they've killed people in their paths. They've never actively... They leave heaven to go down here and do this. Like, that is another level of fucked up to me. That's why
I never thought they'd be so blatant, you know?
I don't know why. I think I'm on Joe's team when I'm like... I read The Most Dangerous Game, I think, when I was in, like, 4th or 5th grade. So, like, man-hunting other man is just no new concept to me. Like, this is like, oh, if you want them to be the worst parts of human existence, the rich echelons, at some point they're gonna go hunt people.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a pirate, it's a story about a cartoon man punching giant dragons, and here you have... the darkest shit, like, it's just so dark. And, like, One Piece is no stranger to getting dark, but, like, it's just always a jolt when it's like, oh, God, he's still doing it. Like, he's never stopped.
It's just, to me, this is on cartoon levels of things happening, I think. So it's never left the realm.
I don't know if this is, like, I don't know what kind of cartoons, because, like, if this was supposed to be cartoonishly evil, they wouldn't humanize the prey. Like, they go out of the way to humanize the prey.
I think Hanna-Barbera cartoons at least had one episode where each of the cartoons did a Dangerous Game segment.
Yeah, like, it's very parodied because it was a 1924 original concept. Like,
short story.
Even Family Guy has parodied the concept of man-hunting man.
This is not parody. In the bottom of the page, there's a woman crying that her child's going to get murdered. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, this is played very seriously.
Oh no, I'm not saying that it's not serious. I'm just saying
Maybe
that, like,
inspired is the better word.
I'm not shocked. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not shocked. Like, this is like, I expected this to be kind of like up there for them. So yeah.
Moving on, I was gonna toss it over to you, Joe. Do you have like a favorite thing you want to bring up if we haven't talked about it?
I hate everything about this.
Oh man.
No. What I do like, and I guess it's moving more on to Kuma, is we get a reasoning behind Kuma holding the Bible and him being like a very religious man, and I just kind of really like that that segment of like him being a priest and like really giving back to the community and things like that.
He has the same vibe as a particular boss that you fight in Demon Souls, where she's known as the most vile creature in like the swamp level, and you get to her and she's this saint lady, and she's known as the most vile creature because she takes in all the corruption around her to spare it. And that's exactly what Kuma's doing. Like, he takes the pain from these villagers, and I love this idea that like the pain will bounce back eventually, so I'm going to make sure it gets put somewhere, and that someone is me because I can take it. Like, what a good boy. Kuma's just the sweetest boy.
Oh, the best boy.
And like, I mean, let's talk about Kuma himself. Like, his father's death was really quick, but it almost sort of worked in the chapter where it's like, another day in the life for this kid.
It totally worked. You don't even get to see his father dying on screen because that's what it like that's how uneventful it is for the Celestial Dragon. He shoots this kid's father in front of him because he's like, "You were talking too loud. Shut the fuck up, dude."
Jesus Christ.
It's horrible.
And I love when Kuma, before he leaves the island, the God Valley Island, he shows up to Saturn and kind of stands up for himself. He's like, "Are you special, sir? Like, what makes you so special?" And I think that's gotta really hurt. Like, it looks like it's hurting Saturn's ego quite a bit, because you have to almost imagine that he's kind of held that grudge to this day a little bit about this annoying Buccaneer boy who dared to ask if the
and in
Celestial
that
Dragons were
moment,
special.
I was like, Kuma and Saturn are like 6 feet apart, and at first I was like, how the hell does Kuma get out of this? But then I was like, Saturn's not going to turn into his demon form when there's a billion people around, right? Or is he? I don't know.
I mean,
does he normally do that?
He did in Egghead, but I think Egghead's also like quite a
Egghead's fucking
circumstance.
done.
Yeah.
That might be like an emergency scenario.
That's what it
Egghead's-
feels like.
Egghead's
So-
gonna get sunk to the bottom of the ocean. I think after all this.
Kuma talks about like worshiping Nika in that
Yeah.
middle panel that you've got right there, and
Which was,
Saint, like, which he's like, if I've got power, I want to be like Nika and help people, and Garcia's like, that's exactly why you people. He says you people.
he does. He does drop the you people.
He drops the you people, which I'm assuming then like the Buccaneers probably worship the sun.
Yeah.
These guys worship the moon, which is an interesting concept. I'm gonna bring back Enel. Is Enel on the moon, and he found why these guys are here on Earth? Or are we gonna get some shonen shit where there's even more of them up on the moon, and then they have to fight the rest of them?
You'll never recover from Naruto.
Dude, bro, y'all don't even fucking.
No, I mean,
Boruto had a time skip last month.
oh, I know. I've seen his design.
yeah.
He's so edgy now.
I've seen the other girl's design.
I bet you have, Joe.
She pops up on my fucking recommended feeds.
I bet she does, Joe.
When she came up.
This
for
conversation
Naruto
needs to end right now.
Ah!
Anyways,
She looks awful.
I've talked about aliens in One Piece. Like, if the
Yeah.
Celestial Dragons are aliens, fuck, do it. Lay it on me.
But here's the thing. So we've seen what the moon people do look like.
They're just like
So they-
weird animal people. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not. There's moon rabbits. There's moon people. There's Enel on the moon.
There's little automatons up there.
So if this is like racial and religious persecution against the sun gods and the people worship, maybe it's not the moon, maybe it's some type of other thing that they
So,
worship that's
I-
darkness, the void, which would lead us to Blackbeard and the dark fruit or whatever he's got.
So I don't think it's the moon, because the Kozuki clan and the Minks both have ties to the moon. So I feel like the moon is also representative of freedom in some weird way.
It's a reflection of the sun.
It is a reflection of the sun, and we're going to talk about the sapphire disease, which works in both daytime and nighttime, any natural source of light. And we've also talked about how the celestial dragons are literally planets, and Emu is planet Earth. So I feel like it's kind of like a...
It's self-worship. It's
Yeah,
the idea
it's
of,
like-
I am
Okay.
created.
I think that's maybe what they're building up. But I think you're right that like the Buccaneers might have like a religious tie to non-Emu gods.
Is that why they don't like them worshiping the sun? Is because all the planets revolve around the sun,
As opposed
and
to
they
Emu.
don't. They don't want to be tied to worshiping something higher than themselves.
That's,
Yes.
Yeah, I mentioned the idea that like One Piece has a like there's the sun, but there's the thing where like there's like a theory of like, you know, when they originally thought that everything revolved around the Earth, and if Emu represents the Earth and the sea, and like it's limited to this, so it's like everything revolves around me, not the sun. So yeah, there's definitely some jealousy here of like Nika, and the Buccaneers might either have fought for Nika or tried to keep the religion alive after the Void Century, and they were persecuted, and only Kuma survived. And then he became a good Christian boy. because he's in a church worshiping Jesus Christ that existed in One Piece.
He's like, fuck Nika, I like Jesus.
This guy, he knows what's up. There's so many cute like things about Kuma. There's his relationship with Ginny's really cute. I like his friendship with Ivankov. I think Child Ivankov is such a cool little motherfucker. Like,
His character's just always been cool, I guess.
it dawned on me that he like went from slave to freedom fighter to slave to prisoner to freedom fighter, and he's always yeehawed his way through the entire process. Like, what a good spirit Ivankov is.
Young Ivankov looks like he came out of fucking Stand By Me or whatever. Like,
what Stand By Me kid look like that?
I got you, Joe.
Like he looks like he came from a coming of age story. Like he just has that vibe.
They all do. They all have like the little coming of age past vibes. It's like I get that from Ginny too, because she's a little hacker girl. So
yeah,
she's got a
Ivankov
story.
especially feels like that. Guys, let's go to the woods and go poke the dead man with the stick.
Definitely.
Hey, let's look at that church up there. Does that church remind y'all of anything? That church look like a character?
I mean, to me, it kind of looks like Duval's helmet, but I'm reaching there.
Looks like Christ the Lord to me in his house.
It looks like... it's not, because I'm looking at it. But, like, at a glance, it looked like Absalom's helmet.
Oh, I can see how you see that, Tyler.
Yeah, but it isn't. Like, I'm looking at Absalom's helmet.
Absalom has a turban.
It's a good reminder that Absalom is dead.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, Bradley, I haven't asked you if you have any other favorite parts of this before I list off some other bullet points that we missed.
I mean, I'm glad we talked about Ivankov, because I just love that motherfucker.
He's really cool. I like it. Like, I didn't expect me to come out of here and be like, did we put Ivankov too low? Because he's just like a good freedom fighter now. Like, he's just such a good spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Like him. But you gotta give me something else.
You know what?
Sister.
Yeah.
I did have something that I actually liked my favorite part about this. And it's something I'm hoping we get out of the flashback. And we saw foreshadowing of it. Which is you won't like me when I'm mad, Kuma.
Yeah, we're getting that. But actually, what I liked in, I think the chapter after the one Joe's on, 1098, we get to see... No, actually, it is that one. Dragon being nervous about something. Which is, he's always pretty cool. Like, we've seen him show emotion in the sense of, like, Sabo, what are you doing, kind of thing. But, like, here he looks like he's really distraught. And this is earlier in his career. He didn't go for Ginny. Like, he let Ginny go. Like... When she got captured, I don't think he had the means or the guts to go straight to the home base. When Kuma got captured, he sent his best men. So, in a sense, it's like they kind of let Ginny die, but at the same time, it's like I like it as like I couldn't do it back then. I won't let the same mistake happen twice.
Yeah, I think it's definitely that because they understand like what they're capable of doing.
Like, they had to risk Sabo and Crowboy and stuff to get Kuma back.
In comparison to Luffy, Dragon feels like a much more practical revolutionary. Where like, obviously, if he could go up there and tear the fucking world apart and rescue his subordinate, he would. But he's like, the logistics of it just don't work out. I'm sorry.
And I like that. I think it makes the Revolutionary Army, and this whole flashback has like a much more believable, much more well-rooted thing in the world where it's like, we gotta go country by country. Kuma's gotta get sent on these missions. We gotta send Ginny and Ivankov to different corners of the planet. Like, we're stretched thin. We gotta help where we can, and very slowly we will like manage to free these
like
islands.
It's a long battle. Not everyone can just Luffy their way up to the biggest bad guy and punch him in the face.
Exactly.
Did y'all notice Karasu, Belobetti, and Lindbergh?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed Lindbergh. Where is he? Yeah, okay, there he is. I see him.
They are very undevil fruited out.
Is that Belobetti? She's changed
That's
a lot.
Belobetti. Yeah,
Wow,
she
she has changed a lot. Okay.
That's Caruso because he's got the mask.
I don't know if it is because then Morley would be here too, and she's not. So I don't think.
Morley replaces Kuma.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, there. Yeah. So Kuma has the epitaph of the tyrant, and we left off the. So I really like this, like the logistics of the king trying to split his country into half, so that way he has to pay less per person. Was just like that's like gerrymandering in my One Piece. Not quite gerrymandering, but like
Pretty close.
pretty close. And I like how it becomes a lawless land. It fits so well into the Great Terminal stuff with Luffy, Sabo, and Ace. We're like, yeah, there's just this trash pile that we're gonna keep to the side so we can flourish up here. Oda is very not subtle about it, but like by reiterating so many times, he creates like a very cohesive theme about like how these kings treat their people.
People only get this luxurious through the destruction of others.
Yeah.
Are there any other islands like that?
Split in half?
The Great Terminal, and it's not quite the same. But I bet they have the same thing going on where they get to pay less for the
There are
people.
different tax brackets or tax districts.
And then that's it because we haven't seen that many super evil kingdoms since we've gotten deep into celestial tax stuff.
And that's the thing. It's not always necessarily like literally marking off territory. To a degree, a lot of kingdoms have like some class of people that just had to be subjugated so everyone else can live nice, like in Dressrosa.
Like, I mean, Wapol kept all the doctors to himself, like, for very simple. So it is interesting. It's cool to see. And the king is back at it at the end of the flashback. So Tyler was just saying, like, angry Kuma. Rocks Kuma, if we will. I think we're going to get Rocks Kuma. You guys have all went. I got some, like, so let's talk about the most recent chapter, because that's, like, one of my favorite One Piece chapters, which is funny, because I opened the chapter, I saw the Brook cover page, I was like, this is the ugliest cover page Oda's ever done. All right, his art has been, you know, here and there. He's an old sickly man. So then I turned the page and I was like, oh no, something is horribly wrong, because I could immediately tell the whole chapter was going to be a little bit fucked up art wise. And
it looks like some fan scanlations from like 2005.
Yeah, like the shading is just completely fucked up. And, you know, even when Oda's at his weakest, some of the pages and drawings still look great. So it was like...
You know what? I feel like it just... You know, obviously this might be a cope, but I feel like it helped the mood of the chapter a little bit.
You know, a lot of people said that, but in some of the pages, it totally does. Particularly like Kuma in the church. That was a very raw scene, and the fucked up shading actually really helped.
Wait, go to page 4 and 5. What is that on page 5, top right panel? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
A ship?
No,
Is that a ship?
No.
No, that
This
is
is,
Ginny.
Ginny talking into the snail.
But she's like blacked out. I don't know if
Oh
you're...
man, I didn't even realize.
That's her face.
She's talking
That's her
into a
arm.
snail. Yeah.
That's her hand, and then the snail would be right here.
But it's drawn in the same way that Port Gaz de Rouge was, where she's like a silhouette person, but like got normal clothes and hair. Like it's drawn in the same way. So fucked up art aside, it would still maybe be confusing if you didn't clue in that like her skin is completely blacked out in this page. And also it's doing that to not show her sapphire disease. Which it's cool that they brought up the white lead disease that fucked up Law. And this is one thing I've caught on wind of is that sapphires are actually the stone that are linked to the planet of Saturn. So it could be that this disease must have come from Marijoa because that's where she came from. So is this some Saturn STD shit? Like this could get really fucked up.
Remember, Roger was dying to a disease that was unexplainable.
Yeah. So did he get it at God Valley? Whoa! Hey.
Yeah. I think that's what happened.
Does now Bonnie doesn't still have this in the current day, right?
I mean, she must not because she only had a couple years to live.
What the fuck?
So here's the thing, though, is like, does coming into contact with Saturn give you this disease?
I think he curses you.
Yeah.
And it was
yeah.
because I think the Japanese oni that like people are basing him on, one of its abilities is to bring misfortune and diseases to people they're looking at, which includes popping their heads, but also maybe like I think they can blight people. If that's and they each have a different blight because the white lead disease I think can be traced to one of the other planets, like lead or like the stone that's involved with lead can be traced to one of the other, maybe Mercury. So maybe I forgot. Warcury could have been the one that created fucking white lead disease, which would be interesting because like it's kind of like Oda is not that slick to me sometimes because I've been reading for 20 years at this point almost, and then he's like, I'm gonna slide this into this chapter to remind you that white lead disease is a thing as I introduce this new disease. So it could be.
Yeah.
They're very much natural disasters.
Yeah. They're the real calamities. Yeah, like, so let's talk about what I think is the most, like, dark thing in One Piece, which is Ginny getting enslaved, raped, being forced to have a child, getting a life-endangering disease that doesn't let her go into the sun. Think about that. Like, these two characters that are tied to a man who worships Nika cannot go into light at all. Like,
Oh my god.
not only were they enslaved, after they leave, they still can't have freedom because their sickness means they can't bask in the sun, the symbol of freedom in the series. So, like, that's pretty obvious symbolism there. But yeah, like, Ginny, like, Bonnie is just a bastard child of a celestial dragon, maybe Saturn's daughter, which would make the current interaction even more messed up. And with that in mind, it's like, yeah, that, like, I think it's always been kind of hinted that the Celestial Dragons sexually abuse their slaves with Boa sisters, but it's never been explicit in the story until now. So it's just all cards on the table. That happens. We have Bonnie as a result, and Bakuma is not the stepfather. He's the father that stepped up. Because he's such a good dad to her.
Dude, seeing the juxtaposition in the panels of, like, giving his daughter a bath in one panel, and then the next panel, he's saving survivors with cannons on his back and explosions in the background.
My favorite page of the chapter, yeah. Like,
mine too.
Training with Sabo while raising his daughter. He put her in the cage so he doesn't crush her. It's really cute. The only time putting a baby in the cage has ever been cute. I want to jump off of that, Bradley, because my other favorite page of the chapter is actually at the start. And it's Kuma getting the news, or like that Ginny's captured, but he's on a mission, so he's got to So he's like freeing these people at the cost of losing his loved one. And he's like, Ginny, we can't get married. Like, I can't have a child with you. My cursed blood should not keep going. I don't want to give you trouble. Doesn't matter. Life is unfair, Kuma. Your life sucks. She gets captured anyways. She's gonna die, and you have to raise a child anyway. So it's like,
oh, I just realized something.
What's up?
They get news of Ginny getting captured, I think, right after they visit Goa Kingdom.
Yeah.
I just realized.
I think Eva Ivankov talks about it because
we can't go. Our ships are
like they just picked up Sabo and just sailed by weird because in that flashback they like sail by Zoro's Island and that's never been explained. I'm like, what's going on there?
They just saw him. That's it. Like,
but yeah, Sabo just joined the gang recently, and the news of Ginny. So also that explains like we were like our best men were also on a mission to Goa Kingdom around that time. So,
they're on the other side of the world, basically.
Even if I was willing to sacrifice our best men for one of our operatives, we couldn't have gotten there in time to save her, and now she's in Marajoa. And, like, Ginny sailed in the daytime, because, like, it doesn't matter when she sails, but she had to sail in the daytime and become a crystallized person to get her daughter back to Kuma. Like, fuck me, dude. This is, like, so sad. And, again, this isn't the end. Like, this isn't the formative moments of this man's life. It is tragedy after tragedy, and we're about to watch him die, I think. Like, cool, great, just kill me, Oda. Just come over here and kill me.
We're also going to learn next chapter for sure, like, how he got that tyrant name.
Oh, yeah.
Which is probably going to be, like, a fallacy. Like, it's definitely something that...
It's probably because he takes over the entire other side of the island. and
Yeah.
like destroys everything.
Oh shit! Yeah,
That's what's gonna happen.
he'll be the king of the south of the island.
Yeah.
That's fucked
Yeah.
up. He liberates this island by, taking the other half, but then he's a tyrant.
Yeah.
I would like him to do something dark here. To really because there's a lot of people in One Piece where like the devil, like the gods became the devils and the devils became the gods. Like they flipped the narrative. I would like it for Tyrion to earn his tyrant, or for Kuma to earn his tyrant narrative a little bit.
This motherfucker deserves to go crazy a little bit.
Exactly. I want him to go
So-
berserk, but I feel like they won't because like he's so pure, and I think we're going to drive that. We're going to twist that knife by making it so he never did anything wrong ever. And like,
Okay, so here's the other thing. Kuma was a Shikibukai. He was a warlord
Yeah.
of the sea, right?
yeah,
So which means is that like he must have been labeled by a pirate by somebody. I think what happens is the Kuma takes over this island and continues taking it over, or like just running it normally. The king says, "Oh, this person or whoever has taken over the island and has taken my kingdom," and so
he's a ransacking pirate.
yes, he gets labeled by the king that he's a ransacking pirate, and then Kuma takes that moniker to also protect the Revolutionary Army at that point too.
I mean,
Because otherwise,
didn't he took a leave of absence here to raise Ginny near the end of the chapter
Right.
2, right? Yeah.
right. So it's been 5 years
Yeah.
since he's been with the army.
Yeah, I don't think he goes back actually ever again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely like I'm gonna label myself as a pirate to also protect the Revolutionary Army, because I'm pretty sure like, oh, you're a revolutionary? Well, that's totally different. We're gonna have
Man,
to
like that's just the theme of this guy. He takes people's pain and just puts it in
Yeah.
himself. I'm willing to bet that if Zoro didn't stand up in Thriller Bark, Kuma would have, like, it was a test of faith. Kuma would have let them go and then taken Luffy's pain so it doesn't go back to Luffy.
Actually,
Yeah.
damn, yeah, he probably had so much respect for Zoro there.
Yeah, like that was like, because he's not gonna, like, yes, he's
Yeah.
ordered here to capture Dragon's son, but he's not gonna, like, really capture, like, he's not gonna kill Dragon's son. So I think he was like, well, I might bring you in, I might not. Let's see what kind of people you're rolling with these days. And then he saw
Yeah.
Zoro's the baddest ass of all time. He's like, all right.
Man, do you think we'll get a chapter where we see like we go through Kuma's life as a warlord to like really understand what his
Fuck,
thought
I
process?
would
Yeah.
really love that. I don't know if we
Yeah.
will.
Dude, we're gonna get like 6 more chapters of this. We're gonna be reading about Kuma until March of next year.
I can live with that.
You overrate how long it takes that chapters to come out.
I do not. It's about to be the holidays.
6 chapters would be at most 3 months. So it's February, not March.
Yeah. Okay. I got 4 bullet points. I'm gonna speed run through, and then we can talk about them.
Yeah, do it.
First one is we know why Jewelry Bonnie's called Jewelry Bonnie
Which is really
because
cute.
of her beautiful jewels.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cute.
Second, she's still alive and out in the sun, which approves Willer's theory of that she takes another Bonnie from a different dimension. It's future.
Oh shit!
Third-
I know that wasn't even what I was cooking, but maybe.
That's kind of badass.
Third,
Ooh.
Bonnie knows about Sky Islands because she read about them in a book, and then she goes, "Oh, maybe Nika would be there," which is where we see that silhouette of Luffy for the first time.
Okay. Ooh, nice.
Fourth, why does Kuma know what the drums of liberation sound like? When the elephant, the oldest thing in the world, is like, "Oh, I haven't heard these in like 800 years."
That's a good. That last one is a good fucking point. He's doing the doom do 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 thing. So.
I think it's a passed down thing. His
Yeah.
father did it to him as well.
Well, but I think that's what Tyler's getting at. Like the Buccaneers have kept that tradition. Like
Yeah.
Zunisha hasn't run into any Buccaneers. Is the obvious answer there?
I think when Luffy ends up saving Jewelry Bonnie in this arc, she'll hear the drums playing, and she'll be like, I think that's what's gonna be the last thing, is gonna be Kuma and Bonnie hearing the drums.
Oh
of Luffy.
man, that sounds beautiful. They're gonna be like, "Dad, it's the drums," and he'll cry and then die.
Yeah.
But by the way, Bonnie has not seen Gear 5 in person yet. Like Oda went out of his way to knock her out in
Oh,
a
yeah.
scene through like He did like classic Oda shenanigans. so it doesn't happen yet, so we can get a dramatic scene with it later. When she met Luffy, she's like, "Hey, why are you all white over there in your poster?" And he's like, "That's how I'm like when I'm most free." But she hasn't seen the man himself in real time until right now. Well, no, even now she saw deflated Luffy fall from the sky. She hasn't seen like Nika in action, so
Yeah.
that might be very.
Are y'all excited? Okay, now here's the thing: is Bonnie gonna stay with Einstein, Vegapunk,
I think so.
or is she gonna go with Nika to Elbaf?
Oh, you mean in current time?
Because Jory Bonnie is not really a pirate. She's not.
She's like forced to be a pirate because she's like a runaway.
By
is my vibe.
association.
Yeah.
She's got the Nico Robin symptoms where she's
Demon
she's a demon
Yeah.
child. So like, is she gonna tag along, or why would she stay with Vegapunk?
Man, wait, and this is why Akainu was like, Bonnie, you need to come back. Like, it's important that we get you because, like, it's like you're a special pirate. Like, but between the time skip and the post time skip, we see Sakazuki hunting down Bonnie, and he like drops lines like that. It's probably because like some celestial dragon is like, can you like capture or kill my daughter so she doesn't stain my name one day, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
About you were just mentioning where she goes. She could even join the Straw Hats at this point. This flashback's gonna be busted. I don't think she will.
Nah.
I mean, Law joined the Straw Hats.
No, you know, he's sort of, but like, she's not gonna be a Straw Hat like Kinemon and Yamato are.
I'm watching Wano right now, and they're fighting, and like Zoro and Luffy are both ordering Law around
It's
on the
so
rooftop. It's just
Roof pieces
great.
peak.
Yeah.
I think she stays with. If Vegapunk lives, I think Vegapunk should die. Look, if we're not gonna criticize his actions, let's at least kill Oda. Like he can't get away with this.
But
But
we also don't know why Kuma really needed that process to happen.
so
But
let's talk
Yeah.
about why. So I didn't think about alternate future Bonnie. That's a cool way to if that is indeed how the fruit works. It's just like, but then like. If when she was in the whirlpool at the start, she did revert to her original form, I was against it because like Luffy's still rubber under the water, but whatever. If she's like a little child still, that original form should have had the disease, so we should have seen it then. If she's doing alternate, there's two things that could be happening here. One, Kuma took the disease into himself, and to survive it, he was forced to turn into a cyborg.
Yep.
However, he also says, I can, in like when he's curing the people in the church, he does say, I will take light pain and injuries from you. I don't know if he can reject something as complex as a disease, but also his fruit is the ability to reject anything.
It's not a disease. It's a curse.
Okay, you know what? That's a good point. Also, it could also be like, hey, I could get rid of your cancer, but then it either comes back to you or me. And like I need to be alive at least to cure the other people.
Like, he gives himself cancer, and then like he can't save anybody anymore.
Yeah. So
Also,
so maybe he can do it. He's just not doing it for his own safety. Is the summary there?
I also think there might potentially be almost like a rebound effect if it goes back. Like if he pushed, like give Luffy for example, I think if he pushed all the pain out of Luffy and went back into Luffy, I think it would like almost be double the amount of pain. Essentially,
I think what would just happen is what happens to Zoro is like you take it all at once, which is gonna hurt even more. Like it's the same pain, but like without any time to recover in between. So,
which might be actually just 100% worse.
The alternate, and I think this one is spicy as shit, bro. Bonnie is a clone of Bonnie.
Oh fuck!
And we got weird with it where. Can you make a Bonnie without the disease, and I will extract her memories, which we put a lot of emphasis earlier in this arc about the extraction of memories. We're gonna extract them and put her in her, and she's never gonna know that she's a clone of a child. She's never gonna know she died for real. We just take her memories and scoop up that part. I'll absorb that part, and she keeps the rest, and she lived like nothing ever happened.
And then she's gonna learn that happened, and she's gonna get pissed off and kill Saturn, and the end.
And then the clone, oh man, the clone no longer has the jewels on the cheek because she's a perfect creation. So she gets a piercing to replace her father's jewel. Oh man, hold on now.
And they couldn't recover the fruit, but she was one of his first experiments with the bloodline elements and replicating the fruit and shit. They don't know where the real fruit is.
Let's
okay,
not
that's a
forget.
stretch.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Let's not forget that when we get introduced to Lilith being a clone, Stussy Lilith, I forgot what she actually goes by now. I think it's Lilith is her actual name.
No, Lilith is a Vegapunk.
Oh shit, yeah,
Stussy,
my bad.
Stussy is Stussy.
Stussy, his name is Stussy. Okay. When Stussy's introduced, the chapter is very interesting. It starts with a monologue about Vegapunk talking about like, we succeeded, I don't care what the world says, we did it, this thing we created is a real human. And obviously it's talking about Stussy. The moment he finishes that flashback, we're actually cutting to a panel of Bonnie on the ground. Kind of slick where he's doing a double meaning where like I'm talking about the chapter is about one clone, but Vegapunk's dialogue is about two clones, which is like why I think like Oda's trying to play a double trick on us where it's like, yes, Bonnie's not a clone of like Big Mom or Stussy or Ginny. Bonnie's the clone of Bonnie with Bonnie's memories, which would be very cool. And that's why she doesn't have the disease. She found the fruit, so she's like a future version of herself that can fight and do ass shots and kill people for 3 seconds and then they come back, etc. So those are the two theories I can kind of buy into and come up with. Do y'all have like anything else? I do like Tyler's idea as well.
I think that's a badass theory.
Find out next Easter.
Shut up.
No, dude.
You're such a downer. We're trying to have fun here.
Yo, this is the fastest paced manga on the planet. Easter will be right here before we know it.
Unfortunately, the time is so fleeting. No, for real though, we will get the answer to Bonnie. Oh my god, don't cut back. He might. The motherfucker might. We might see the end of this tyrant shit, cut back to Egghead, and then we'll get the last bit of the flashback near the end. But I'm guessing that by the end of the next chapter, Tyrant Kuma will be established. Like he will have saved the town because the flashback a lot is happening, but it's happening relatively quickly. So I think by next chapter, like halfway through the chapter, we'll have resolved the king stuff. We'll have like half the chapter of Tyrant Kuma, the epitaph, and then maybe one more chapter of like how he became a warlord. I don't think we're gonna get that warlord chapter where we get to see like his events. That would be really cool because it would also be the first time we get to see like a warlord kind of do their day-to-day life, like take orders and see what that like vibe is like. We never get to see that, so that would be cool. I don't think we're gonna get it. And then we will probably cut back, and I don't think we're gonna get Bonnie stuff quite yet. So anyways, when Kuma shows up and saves Bonnie from Saturn, it's gonna be hype as shit. Oh man, and like it's gonna be Kuma seeing that motherfucker from his childhood that he talks shit to and being able to fight him now. That's gonna be cool as shit. I'm back. I lived, bitch.
I lived, bitch.
That's all the big bullet points I wanted to touch on. Small idea. Maybe Rox was actually the hero during that incident because just seeing that, like, I could see like them demonizing Rox to kind of defend the Navy's actions where they protected all these manhunters. That's always an option. I don't know. That's an idea. But that's like the one thing that I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about it. Do y'all have anything else?
I have one big bullet point. It was hilarious when those kids called Bonnie a vampire and they held up a cross to her and she's like, I live in a church, dumbass.
But I love Child Bonnie. She's very fun. She's very cute, but she has that Bonnie sassiness that we see.
Oh, to this day. Willer's just like Oda.
No, not quite. You're the defender of these things, Tyler. Go ahead.
I never have I ever.
Talk about the 12-year-old's ass, Tyler. Why don't you?
Oh, she's 28, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's my coat, bro. That's my coat. Anywho,
I'll just look at Ginny.
I saw someone be like, we're gonna have to call Chris Hansen on Blackbeard when he's like, he's trying to capture Bonnie. He's like, "Yo, you can be my wife." It's like, oh god, okay.
I guess this chapter's art had to be intentional. Otherwise, they probably would have said something.
They did.
About what?
Yeah, I didn't finish the art in time. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I asked Joe about it, and I missed that actually. But yeah, like Oda just, I think also there's a 1% chance where like this shit was really, because he's a father of a daughter. I'm pretty sure he cried drawing the Kairos flashbacks, so this probably fucked him up a little bit too. So his morale was probably not super high drawing this chapter, I imagine as well. So
I think this is more of like, this feels more like. In Oopsies, something happened and like it just fucked everything.
He's never had an oopsie chapter in his career, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like My Hero Academia has an oopsie chapter every other month because that motherfucker is working hard. No, he like the art's amazing, but like most My Hero Academia chapters are like 10 pages these days. Like it's crazy.
I think
the life of a mangaka sucks.
we'll have to see what the next chapter is like, but I think it'll be
No, at most next chapter will be Dodge. I think will be. Because like he's on break again. They're probably gonna do. We're probably gonna get bi-weekly One Piece for the next 2 or 3 months though.
Yeah.
And there's always the 2-week break at the end of the year because they have like holidays. And Oda always takes a break the week after, so it'll be 3. So as much as Tyler is trolling, I think for Oda's out there, they are gonna slow down a little bit, but it's not gonna be a full hiatus at least. So hey.
I love the picture of Kuma.
Anywho. That's all, folks. If no one's got anything else, I knew this would be one of the longer ones because there was a lot of juicy stuff to talk about. Like I said, I'm loving this flashback, and by the end of it, you guys will see the vision too.
Great flashback. I'm just saying, I enjoy other things.
Well,
I don't like pain and suffering.
You're gonna enjoy this pain and suffering because it's not even over. We got like at least 2 more bullet points of
It's
tragedy to this man's life.
We gotta see Kuma get his dick cut off. Like, that's also gonna
Kuma,
happen.
the sapphire disease has begun to spread on your cock.
Kuma, in order for you to be an android, we have to make you a eunuch.
Well, he is a monk, so
Truly a holy man.
Truly a holy man.
Hey, yeah, that's all gonna happen.
Yep. It's canon. I don't know. I'm scared to know where he was going with that. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me. We will catch up in the next 5 or... You know what?
Yeah.
Because we like tend to stockpile 5 or 6, if we do it in March, we all need to like buy Tyler a drink because he would call it.
Yeah.
If the next time we talk about One Piece is in March, Tyler was unfortunately way too right. So we'll see about that. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
Well,